All right, we are live. What's good? Let's get some tunes rolling here as people sign in and join us. Should be good. We got some fun topics to talk about here tonight, so we're gonna get it started. All right, here we go. Make sure to share this event on social media here as we roll. All right, if you're watching live, leave a comment in the chat. What is going on? Welcome to Ask a Realtor. We're gonna kick it off here tonight, talking about some great topics. But the format here is we're live. So if you have questions pertaining to buying, selling, what it's like being a realtor, anything related therein, leave it in the chat box, and we'll talk about it here on the live stream tonight. Awesome, you guys. Right on. Let's get started here. And pop the chat box out here so I can keep an eye on that. Beautiful. So a couple of topics we have lined up tonight. One is about affordable housing programs, kind of a high level overview of how those work, what those entail, and the pros and cons therein. And then we're going to dive into kind of the real estate agent side and talk about some things that new agents and experienced agents can do today, right now, to go get business, to get leads that can convert into sales, that can convert into money in your bank account. Boom. Let's get started. All right, first topic I want to dive into here is affordable housing programs. So, right out the gate, we know that they are programs that are designed for lower income individuals to give them a fighting chance in this crazy market to actually accomplish the dream of being a homeowner. But what does that really look like? Well, there's multiple programs and they each have their own definitions and requirements to even be eligible for these programs. But the main things that I want to touch on here will be that those homes are going to be offered at more affordable prices than similar homes in the market that are not part of those programs. So you might see a home on the same street that's valued or offered listed much higher than one that's part of this program, and they have the same or similar features, square footage, bedroom bathroom count, garage, no garage, what have you. It could be the same unit. If it's the case of like a condo or townhome, one of them is part of this affordable housing and one is not. So how that works is when it's part of the affordable housing program, that property is actually deed restricted. So to be able to even purchase that home, you must meet the restrictions that are outlined on the deed of that property for it to even be deeded to you. So what do those restrictions look like? I'm going to pick on the Denver Affordable Housing Program here. I've got their information pulled up here. So they have two main requirements for Denver. And this is through Denver's Department of Housing Stability. This is right off their website. So one, applicants must be within the area median income limits, or they use the abbreviation AMI. So how they determine that would be, again, they take that area and they take the median income and they're going to set a limitation based on that. So for a particular property, for example, they might say, hey, we want people to fall between 50 to 80% of that AMI. So we actually go to their website. They have a link on there for their income limits, and you're going to go down and you're going to find 50 and you're going to find 80% down the column for AMI. You say, okay, my income must fall between that range. But the next question to ask is how many people are in the household? What is the household size? And it's not just adult taxpayers. This it also includes children. So if you've got a 4-person household and you're trying to hit between 50 to 80% AMI, based on these 2021 income limits that I'm looking at right on Denver's website here, denvergov.org, for 4-person household size, 50% would be $52,400. So that's the low end. And then the upper end, the 80%, would be $79,900. So that tells us right there that we have a small income bracket that we have to meet. We have to fit in that box in order to be considered to be eligible. So right there, that rules out a lot of folks. For a 4-person household, that's clearly not a lot of income. So obviously the program is catering to lower income households, giving them a fighting chance to get into these properties to take care of that 4-person household, right? So they've got to fit in, if we're going between 50 to 80%, that's 52,000 to 79,900 annual income. And keep in mind that how your lender calculates income and how the Denver Department of Housing Stability calculates income might be different. So if you're right on the line with one of those, perhaps with your lender, then definitely check it out because you might be dipping over that line when it comes to actually having the program qualify you. I hope that makes sense. Awesome. And then this next requirement, this is even a greater barrier to entry for folks than the income. Applicants must maintain a housing payment at or below 35% of the total household income. So, and again, this is just one program. There's other programs out there. There's a Habitat for Humanity has an affordable housing program, and they have different requirements. Similar, but they shape them differently. So if you don't fit into one, that doesn't mean that affordable housing just isn't for you at all. I'd encourage you to look at the other available programs out there. In particular, if you're looking at a particular home or community of homes, and find out which program that they're using for their affordable housing, because you can't pick which one. It's going to be offered through one of these programs for that specific property, if that makes sense. But back to Denver here, this third at or below 35% of the total household income. So the housing payment, and that includes principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, as well as the HOA, if there's an HOA on it, that total housing payment is what they're considering that needs to be at or below 35%. So you need at least 65% disposable income after that payment, if that makes sense. If you are interested in these programs, let me know. I have some amazing lender partners I work with that are very well versed with these programs and can help you navigate the situation. We kind of like to do a pre-screen with our lender here before we have you submit your application to the program, because we want to see if you're going to fit in there, if it's going to be worth your time to actually apply, right? So and that way we can know it pretty quickly if it's gonna work for you or not. And if it is, great. We'll get your application over there. We can go take a look at the particular property that you're interested in and get an offer going. Cool. Last thing I want to tell you about affordable homes on these affordable housing programs. The obvious great benefit there is that they are much cheaper than similarly priced home that's not part of that program. But there's a catch that comes with it, of course, right? The biggest catch here is that one of the benefits of home ownership is the appreciation of the value of that home over time. Well, with the affordable housing program and the deed restricted properties, the appreciation is capped each year. It's limited. So even though the area around you might be going up 6, 12, 18%, which are our numbers that we are seeing in the Denver area uh, currently right now, it's crazy. Um, but the program might only allow you to go up 3% to keep pace with inflation. So from an investment standpoint, affordable housing programs, they're very good at getting folks in for that, that have that reduced or that lower income. But in terms of actually making a return on the investment, I would caution you to consider that and consider your exit strategy there. Are you planning to try to sell this place and use the proceeds to get into a bigger, better place in 2 to 5 years? I would I would take a hard look at affordable housing if that's your strategy there, because you're not going to be able to reap those rewards that you would on a home that's not part of those programs. Um, if you have questions about this, reach out to me afterwards. Send me a DM. I'm happy to chat through it with you. If you're planning to stay in that home long term and you just need a roof over your head and a cheap payment, and you just need stability where you're not going to have a landlord saying, "Oh, I'm selling the house that you live in this year. You got to get out at the end of the lease," right? So if you're looking for that sort of situation, then maybe affordable housing is a perfect opportunity for you. But just consider that you're not going to reap the appreciation that you would on a traditional home that's not part of the program. Awesome. How are we doing? I'm checking back in with the video here. We got a thumbs up on the video. Yes, love it. People can hear me at least, which is always great. And I want to kind of roll into the next topic here. I don't see anything in the chats yet, which is all good. So we're just going to keep this rolling here. And this is going to be geared more towards real estate professionals and building your business, growing your business, getting business. And if you're considering a career in real estate, then I would urge you to stay logged on and listen, because we have some really fun stuff that we're going to chat about here. So having been in the business here for a few years now, I've kind of employed school of hard knocks methodology with trying to get business. In other words, I've dabbled, I've tried it all, and I want you to benefit from that, right? So, oh, what's up, Mo? Yeah, buddy. I'm gonna throw a comment out to you as well. What's good? Nice. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, my brother. Awesome. He's like, yeah, we're getting to the good stuff now. Talking about the leads, talking about getting that business. All right. Beautiful. So there are a slew of different ways to build your business. As a new agent, an experienced agent, you can lean on these different ways. My favorite is referral business, because it consists of people telling other people what an awesome agent you are and to go use you and go hit you up. and you didn't have to spend any ad money on that, at least not for the referral. You might have for that first relationship, but we'll get to that. Uh, but I mean, for the most part, it's a free lead source, and you can sustain your entire business off of it. You're like, Joseph, come on. I mean, that's all good and well if you've been in the business long enough to just live off of referrals. But for a new agent, people aren't really shouting your name from the rooftops saying, "Oh, go use this great agent." They've never done any deals, but go use them. It's going to be an awesome time. I just know it. Um, it happens, but you got to be a little bit more active to build to that point to get referrals. I'm very happy to tell you guys, after employing all the different things that I do, that a good chunk of my business does now come from referrals, friends and family hitting me up, and it's an amazing feeling. But you have to take actionable steps to get to that point before you really see that traction. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into those other actions that you can take right now to jump in and get that money. Yes. Boom. So we talked about that's probably the best source of business there. But there is a concept called your sphere of influence. That's everyone that you know and that knows, likes, and trusts you. And it's past clients. But if you don't have past clients, it's people that you've worked with in a different line of work before. You came over from finance. You came over from the food service industry. You came over from prior military. Like, people from those previous walks of life that you've worked with before, that you've had each other's backs, and that they kind of know your work ethic and lean on those relationships. That can be your greatest source of your first deals right there. How do you lean on them? You engage with your SOI, your sphere of influence. Best way to do that is to just call people up and just say, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Would you like to go get coffee or lunch with me sometime? Like, it's just been too long since I've seen your face. Let's do this." Especially now, when it was like lockdown early 2020, obviously that wasn't happening, right? But we're kind of getting back to that now, which is amazing. It's a great opportunity to get out there and kindle those relationships with people that you haven't seen since the lockdowns first began a couple of years ago. So, and just approach it from that. Don't call them and say, "Hey, I'm a real estate agent, and I'm looking for business. I'm looking for buyers and sellers. Who do you have for me?" No, no, don't do that. Instead, let's go get that cup of coffee. Let's go get a sandwich. I'd love to hear about what's going on with you in your life. This book right here, Ninja Selling, Subtle Skills, Big Results, written by Larry Kendall. Actually, Fort Collins man, a local Coloradan here. But mega agent. I can't recommend that book enough. His method of building rapport with people just by asking questions and listening is so fire. It's so valuable. And it doesn't put people off. It's not a salesy approach. You don't have commission breath when you're talking to people. What you want to focus on when you are having these lunch and coffee meetings with your homies is what he refers to as the Ford questions. FORD, Ford questions: family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And yet, you're just asking about their life. Family, how's your family doing? How's your wife? How's your kids? Occupation, how's work going? Have you gotten any new promotions? Are you still working at the same place that you were before? Are you working on any cool new projects at work? That sort of thing. Recreation, Oh man, did you get that camper that you were looking at last summer? Oh, you did. That's awesome. How many times did you get to take it out? Oh, that's amazing. Did it have all the feature? You're diving into something that you know that they're passionate about. Because these are your friends and family. Like you have that common ground with them already. Like have a conversation just based around that. Like, haven't brought up real estate once, but we're having a great conversation. It's very focused on who I'm sitting with there, giving my undivided attention, and I'm just asking questions. And then dreams. You're not going to ask them, what are your dreams? No, but you're going to ask about, oh, do you have a camping trip planned for this summer? Or any exciting trips coming up? Um, you know, uh, any new big moves that are going to be happening with work, that sort of thing. And when you're asking these questions, you're listening for change. You're listening for things in their life that might be huge things in their life. They might be having another kid. They might be getting married. They might have gotten a job offer out of state. Big changes in their life, and these things don't happen with every person, every meeting. Of course not. But you have enough meetings with enough people, and you have these uh, conversations around the Ford questions. You're listening for change because the first time you talk to them, they might just be all, "Oh, I'm good," same as ever, still same job, um, you know, nothing really too exciting going on. Oh, that's great. But the next time you hit them up and you maybe grab another coffee and 3, 5 months down the road, and oh, big changes are happening now that weren't then. You perceive that, you pick up on that. Maybe they need to downsize, maybe they need to upsize, maybe they need to get out of renting and actually buy a home, right? So that is a great method right there to generate some business. And even if it's not from that person that you're taking out there, um, they just had a great time with you and you were very interested in them and they have a good feeling about you, and then they go to work and their coworker is telling them, oh man, we're having another kid now. I need a bigger place. The two-bedroom isn't going to cut it anymore. You know what, my buddy is a real estate agent. I actually just had coffee with him this weekend. He's a great guy. Let me get you his information. Boom, you just got yourself a referral, right? And some other things that I've done before that worked very well for me is sending out mailers. So when you hit up people, ask them, let them know, be like, hey, I'm putting together these fridge magnets that are like a Broncos or your favorite sports team game schedule. I'd love to send you one. Can I do that? What's your address? And build you a little database, little list of people to send that out to. A great resource for that, houseofmagnets.com. I'll tell you what, I did this and I sent some out, and I literally went in to a house one day for the listing photography appointment, and my magnet was on the fridge. I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh hey, I know that guy. So I'm not saying that magnet got me the listing, but that in combination with staying connected and engaged with my friends and family, boom, it's led to some business for me. I think it'll do the same thing for you. And it's not a super expensive way to go about it. Yeah, coffees and lunches add up, but you can write that stuff off on your taxes. Try to do it once or twice a week. I would challenge you to try to do that if you're looking at a way to really drum up business. Try that one. Awesome. How we doing? All right, Maurice, digging the channel, man. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you. And oh, you got the DVD videos of ninja selling? Nice. I have actually not seen those. I've only read the book, but man, I mean it's the same content, so I love that. Yeah. Have you watched them? Leave me a comment and let me know how you liked it. Great, man. Okay. Well, I'm going to move on from your friends and family. Although that's, I feel like that should be a big core of anyone's business right there. But let's say that you just moved into town and you don't have a database here. You're like, I've got to generate business in a different way. What are some other things I can do? Hold open houses. And I'll let you in on a little secret here. It does not have to be your listing. That's right. You don't have to get the listing in order to hold the open house. You can actually contact agents in your office and just offer to hold an open for them and their clients. They'll look like a rock star in front of their seller because they're having an open house there and getting more foot traffic into that home that they're trying to sell. And then you'll have an opportunity to chat with people that walk in and get some leads that way. If you do this every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday, and you're just consistent about it, that can be a great method of gaining business right there. Now, we'll say that open houses are best for vacant homes, homes that are lived in, primary resident or even a renter in there. Probably not the best fit for holding an open house, although it can definitely work. If you do an occupied home open house, make sure that if you're the listing agent, or if not, make sure that your listing agents have that conversation with the residents of that home. Like, look, you're going to have people walking in here to an open house that aren't with an agent. We only have so many eyes, so it's really important that you remove your valuables off the property, lock your valuables up, lock firearms in the fire safe, or just remove them off the property, even better. Um, Anything potentially dangerous, prescription medication, jewelry, anything valuable like that, move it off of the property. Uh, Really, best case scenario is just focus on vacant homes. Um, Vacant, and they can be staged or not. Staged homes are great because they really help people visualize how they can make the space their own. But it doesn't have to be staged. It could be vacant and completely empty. You can do an open house there just fine. Maybe bring a couple of little staging items of your own, like a little end table, a couple of chairs, and a vase with some flowers. A candle that smells really nice, like home baked cookies, that sort of thing. Um, be careful with that one. Make sure that it's in a place where it's not going to burn anything down, obviously. But you can do a plug-in too. It doesn't have to be an open flame candle, right? So just be creative about it there. Safety, um, especially for a home with multiple levels, you can't quite keep an eye on everyone. Bring someone with you. Bring a lender with you. That's my favorite. Lenders will love to come to the open house with you and chat with folks. Be right there to pre-qualify someone if they're so inclined, and if not, just safety in numbers. So that would be my advice for holding open houses. And then the big thing that you want to make sure that you do, if you are bringing another agent with you, discuss it up front if you will co-list any leads that you get, or if you will trade off and you'll take a lead, they'll take a lead, and whoever talks to whoever, that's their lead. It's important to have that conversation up front so that you don't run into a situation where they're like, wait a second, I thought you were going to co-list with me. So better to just have that conversation and figure it all out up front if you're going in with another agent. If you're going with a lender, it's a non-issue. They can be the lender, you can be the agent, boom, you got it covered. That's why I love doing it that way. Make sure you have a sign-up sheet, whether that be a tablet with a program that you're having people sign into, or an actual, paper and pen sign-up sheet. But you want to make sure that you're collecting people's information as they come through. One, it's a list of people that came through the open house. You can show the seller if it is your listing, how many people came through. But even more importantly, those are your leads right there. If they just come through, walk through the house, and then walk out, how are you going to follow up with them if you didn't have them sign in on the sign-in sheet? So make sure you have a sign-in sheet and that you're encouraging every single person that comes through there to sign in. And my last piece of advice for an open house is this. In my experience, people that walk into the open house, unrepresented folks that walk in, um, it's very seldom that that's the house that they're going to end up buying. It sure does happen, but more often than not, those folks are end up going to buy maybe the house down the street or in the next neighborhood over, right? So add value to those folks. Bring a list with you of other open houses in the area for that weekend, or bring a list of similar homes that are available on the market, because they're going to walk through and there's going to be things that they like and they don't like about this home. Maybe they like that it backs to the open space, but they don't like the layout. And there's a home down the street that offers them both. They have the open floor plan there, and it backs to the same open space. Um, well, you're at this open house, so if they go walk in over there, and that's the one that they end up want to buy, you know, wouldn't it be powerful if you gave them that list and you said, tell you what, if you're interested in seeing some of these other homes, why don't we connect after the open house today? I'll set up a private showing. I'll meet you at those properties and show them to you, when it's convenient for you. Are you adding value right there for that client? You bet. Absolutely you are. And then the biggest thing is just follow up. If you tell them you're going to send them a list afterwards, you tell them you're going to contact them afterwards, make sure that you do so. Add them into your mailing list, reach out, thank them for attending the open house, see if they have questions, see if they want to go take a look at some other homes, right? Boom. That's my open house 101. Yeah. Awesome. You know what? We're going to keep rolling here. I've got a few more, but I want to keep this a little bit more brief. So higher level overview on these next few, but I've got some more great opportunities for you here. So the next one to crack out here for getting business now versus people that might take a little while, between 3 to 12 months to actually be ready to buy, would be FSBOs and expireds. FSBOs being for sale by owner, expireds meaning expired listings that were listed available for sale on the market and they did not sell. They reached the end of the listing period and they expired. They're no longer out there for sale. That doesn't mean that owner doesn't want to sell. I consider when I find a FSBO or an expired that these folks need to sell. They at least needed to sell at one point. And I encourage you to think of it as a job listing. They're putting it out there for you to see that they had a desire to sell at one point. Did something change? Maybe, but maybe not. They might still want to sell. And if they're for sale by owner, they definitely want to sell. They just don't want to pay a realtor. They don't see the value in you as the professional getting a paycheck for doing what they think that they can do on their own, which with this market, honestly, they might be able to get a contract on their place. Are they going to know how to navigate the ins and outs of inspection, appraisal, post-closing occupancy? Who knows? That might be where your value comes in. And that might be where you need to show them what your value is, your unique selling proposition, what sets you apart. So my favorite resource for working these type of leads is RedX. This website called theredx.com. In fact, I'm going to plug it into the chat here. It is a subscription, redx.com. So you pay to access a market or two markets, and you pay for the lead type that you want. But once you set that up there, it's not super expensive. I want to say for just doing for sale by owners for Denver Metro was like under 40 bucks a month for me. And it's one of those things that you got to be consistent with it, just like anything in this business. Everything works. You just have to be consistent at it. You have to practice. You have to refine your craft. Get really good at holding open houses. Get really good at calling and speaking to for sale by owners or expired listings. Figuring out those conversations. What I would recommend would be practice role playing calls with another agent in your office. Set up a time once a week, twice a week that works for you both. And I've done this. I've done this with a guy in my office that's in my office now. And we would call each other up and be like, okay, go. And then one of us would play the for sale by owner, and one of us would play the agent, and then we would kick each other scenarios and objections to overcome, and we would work on it together. And then after our role play, then we would be pumped up and feeling ready to actually make live calls to people, and boom, get out there and do it. That's how I got my first FISBO. It was actually a short sale. Called the guy up, and he was like, all these people want to list my property, and they want to come over and meet with me, and I don't have time for that. Like, I just want someone to do it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. He was like, great, send me the paperwork. I was like, sent. And boom, I can make a whole separate video about a short sale. But yeah, that was redx.com. Calling through, called this guy. He had property to sell. Boom, we made it happen. It took a long time, a lot of extra steps at the short sale. We'll get to that. We're going to keep moving here. Door knocking. Yes, it does work. You can door knock. Now, you can just door knock around a neighborhood and ask people if they want to sell their home. I do not recommend that you do that. Instead, consider that unique selling proposition. You need a reason to be on their doorstep, bugging them on a Saturday morning, right? So I encourage you to door knock around an upcoming listing, just listed, just sold, or around an upcoming open house. Maybe you're employing both methods here. You're doing an open house for an agent, so you're heading over a few days prior to the open, and you're door knocking around there. And when those people answer the door and they're like, no soliciting, this isn't a solicitation, it's an invitation. I'm inviting you to pick your neighbors. Your neighbors right down the street here are selling their house, and we're doing an open house this weekend. Who do you know that you would love to live a few doors down from? Let them know about the open house for me. Here's my flyer. Here's my card. And by the way, if you want to come be nosy and see what your neighbor's house looks like, we'll be there from 10 to 1 on Saturday. This is a very nice meeting you. I hope to see you there. You can get door hangers for cheap or even free from a home warranty company. What I love about those ones is you just have a little cutout at the bottom that you take your business card, boom, just insert the business card into it, and boom, all of a sudden it's branded to you with all of your contact information. And if they're not home, you just hang it on the door and you just keep moving. Yes, pounding the pavement can suck. You can get a lot of doors slammed in your face, but guess what? The cold calls to FISBOs and expires get a lot of hang-ups too. It's all part of it. It's, again, about being consistent. So pick your poison. If neither of those excites you, maybe you just stick to meeting with people that you know for coffee and lunch and just doing open houses. Do you think that you could build a business with just those two methods? I'm telling you right now, if you're consistent with it, yes, you can. Absolutely, you can. And then get active in your community. Go to community events. Go to investor meetups. I was telling a story about, I just went to an investor meetup down the road from me here. I met this gal and I was speaking to her about her wanting to buy an investment property. Followed up with her a little while later, and she's like, oh, I'm so glad you called. Can you help my brother buy a house? Yes, I can. Great. Will you send us your buyer agency contract? Yes, I will. sent. Boom. Just like that, I've got him in connect with my lender right now. We're trying to get him into a home. So, and we didn't even get into the weeds about her, wanting to buy an investment property. Do you think that when I build value with her by helping her brother buy this home, that she's going to be inclined to use me when she's ready to buy an investment property? Absolutely. I never would have met her had I not gone to that event and bought that beer and chatted with some people there. I found that on the Meetups app. It's called Badass Real Estate Investors, and they do them all over. They do them all over. So get plugged into a group like that, and you can just go out there and meet people. You can meet agents out there, vendors. You can meet investors, both landlords and flippers, and they, there's ways to build value in for everyone, right? Go to car shows, go play golf. Every time you play golf and you get in on a foursome, you've got three people to chat there about what you do, because it's going to come up in 18 holes. And by the end of the 18 holes, you've built quite some rapport with them. Grab their cards. Again, they might not be selling for several years, but they might have a guy at work that's ready to sell, and I just played around with this guy this weekend. It was had a good time. He said he sells real estate and seems like a great guy. Maybe you should chat with him. Boom, that's a referral right there. That round of golf just played for all of the rest of your golf for that year at least, right? Go meet with builders. Go around to all the different build communities, learn the inventory, learn the incentives, learn, once they close out this community, where are they going next? So the future communities. Do they need someone to hold open houses for model homes? I've done that before. I've actually sat in the office. They didn't even have a model home built yet. It was a trailer for this builder, and the builder was out running errands or something. And he was like, do you just want to sit in the office and, any leads that you get, like if they want to buy one of our homes, you can represent them? Yeah, I'll do that. Not saying that happens a lot, but it happened to me. So if it happened to me, it can happen to you, right? But be the agent that those builders call when a home falls out of contract and they need a buyer to swoop in. Bypass the wait list. I mean, how powerful is that? What a value proposition it is to your people. They're like, oh, I'm interested in new builds. Great. I have such great relationships with builders in this market that I'm the guy they call when they have one fall out of contract that's like 95% done. They basically just need to get the certificate of occupancy, and they're ready to close. And you don't have to wait for a dirt start. You don't get to pick all your finishes, but you get a brand new home no one's lived in, and you don't have to wait for it. And you don't have to enter a bidding war like you would on the resale market for a home that someone else did already live in. Do you think that would be a unique selling proposition to you with that buyer? Absolutely. And all it takes is just going around and meeting with them, giving them your card, grabbing the handouts that they have on their different communities and models and incentives. And incentives change from one day to the next, 1 month to the next. But at least having your finger somewhat on the pulse of what's going on in that market, you can really carve out a niche as being like a new build specialist. And people love new construction. It's a great alternative to messing around with those, with the resale, and having to put in escalation clauses and bidding wars and all that fun, right? Buying leads from Zillow, Realtor, etc. I've done it before. It can be a great source of business. I can't really knock it. It's expensive. So, if you're just starting out and you don't have the budget for it, maybe focus on some of this other way first. But buying leads can be a great way to go. Running Facebook ads, Google ads, putting videos out on TikTok, believe it or not. There's realtors that are killing it right now just doing that. I can't really speak to that because I don't do it myself, but um, you know, doing a YouTube live stream, Ask a Realtor Q&A can be a way to drum up business. Wonder where I got that idea from, right? Awesome. Nice. How you guys doing? I hope that you're loving this. We got another thumbs up. We got people watching. I'm actually going to wrap this up here. We touched on a lot of different things there. I threw that website into the chat there, theredx.com. I mean, if you're interested in getting into real estate, like these are some things that we're doing with our new agents right now to help them get started and get some business going. So please reach out. Let me know. I'd love to buy you that cup of coffee and come sit down and chat with you about what a career in real estate looks like. And if you are already in real estate, share some stories with me about, things that have worked for you well with generating leads and getting business, right? So this is a community, and we all help each other grow. So, um, Maurice, my man, thumbs up to you too, sir. Thank you. Awesome, you guys. I appreciate you tuning in. This is a weekly thing, and if you missed it live, it's recorded. Best way to be notified when I'm going live is to subscribe to the channel. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, you're amazing. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one. We'll see you next week. All right.